Hi, my name is Ritika Kocher, and we're coming to season 2 of Sacred Spaces after the being in lockdown for about 17 months. And during these 17 months, one of the things that got us through it was remembering some of the amazing places that we had visited and which we hope to go back to one day. So I asked my mother, Rita Kocher, who is on Instagram as Traveling Rita, about her favorite places, and both of us came to the conclusion that one of the places which was just magical was Montserrat, which is a shrine to the Black Madonna and a Benedictin monastery just outside Barcelona in Spain. Now, the reason why I think my mother is particularly drawn to these kind of places is because her name, Rita. There's a saint by the name of Saint Rita, and my mother manages to find her grottos and her chapels across Europe. So when we got to Barcelona for the second time, we knew we were going to go to Montserrat, but it was a little more difficult than just deciding and landing up. Hi.
Hi. Ritika, thank you. I truly believe, maybe it's just my Indian psyche, that जब तक माँ का बुलावा नहीं आता, आप दर्शन के लिए नहीं जा सकते. This has always, I have found this to be true. And it was such a delight to know that this also works in the West. I've been to Barcelona a few times and never been able to make it to Montserrat for some reason or the other. And even this trip, it was the last day and we realized, it's not going to happen even this time. Then in the middle of the afternoon of our last day, we get this call out of the blue from the airlines saying all flights were being cancelled as the pilots were going on strike.
Which meant that we had no way of knowing when we are leaving town, where we are staying for the night, everything up in the air.
And a connecting flight from Frankfurt to India.
Absolutely.
So that was also gone. So anyway.
So we weren't leaving town that night.
So we said go to Montserrat the next morning. It's probably Maa ka Bulawa, and she's arranged it that we stay another day in Barcelona. So the early next morning, we are at the
metro station, which is going to take us to the main train station of Barcelona, where we have to catch a train up to the mountain of Montserrat, because this is at the top of a mountain, about 48 kilometers outside Barcelona.
And it's an easy journey, very well marked. The station has these well marked platforms from where you can take a train up to the Montserrat station.
It should. It's the most popular tour of Barcelona. Yeah. This is the main saint of Catalonia.
And once you reach there are two ways of getting up to the monastery. One is a vernacular train, and the other is a cable car. So we had decided on going by the vernacular. It is not getting there, it is the journey, the vernacular journey, which is a delight you will find. These are these very roughly hewn rocks, huge rocks on the side. And maybe my imaginative mind, to me they look like as if faces were carved out of natural. It's a natural phenomena. Nobody's carved those faces, but to me they look like faces, as if these were the precursor to all the faces in later time you all see on Star Wars. Star Wars. So all those faces. This just seems to be a rough-hewn blueprint for those faces. I'm sure somebody saw these before they decided on it. But it's a delight to watch these huge rocks. And then we get there. And then it's when you get off the vernacular, it's a bit of a walk up to the monastery. And we think in Europe, the Montserrat Boys Choir is considered one of the oldest in Europe. And it only performs in certain religious ceremonies or when there are days of communal prayers at the Basilica.
And we knew that they were going to perform at this time at 1 o'clock. So our whole aim was to get there by 1 o'clock to hear this. But the main point for us was obviously the Black Madonna, for which you have to wait in a queue inside the church. There's a little waiting area in the center of the church, where they build up the queues, which
And there is very small winding stairs which go up to the Madonna.
So you first have to wait for about 10 to 45 minutes out there till the cloud gathers and your chance comes to go up. Now the thing about this Black Madonna is, and this is why it's remained in my mind all these years, is it's black. And there's a history to this Black Madonna, which is that this is said to have originally been a place which is dedicated to the goddess Venus. And then in about the 8th century, Madonna gave a visitation to shepherd boys out here, and this is why this place became so well known. And we're talking back to the 8th century. After which, by about the 12th century or so, this Black Madonna statue was created, which has a very long-faced Madonna with Jesus in her arms, and the Jesus' arm is raised on a benediction, exactly like our Eastern benedictions that we know about well. And in her other hand, so while the Jesus is sitting in her lap, in her hand is a globe. And it's said that this whole Benedictine monastery was built around this statue, which already existed, which is why you can only get to it by these very, very small stairs which take you up, and which were crowded. I mean, you can imagine crowds of hundreds going up at that time.
So, and then the first of the miracles happen. We are in the middle of the queue and saying, oh, we're never going to get to hear the choir at this rate, but go we must near the Madonna. And let me tell you, the Madonna has an orb in her hand, and this is typical of our, again, our Indian psyche. If we go near our gods, we have to touch the feet of the statue, or touch the ground in front of the statue. Till it's done, we don't feel as if our darshan is complete. So we had to get near the Madonna and somehow touch her. And the only way you can touch her is this orb which is in her hand, which is a part of it is outside the glass case which is covered. And all around is a gold facade. And so, okay, the first of the miracles that happens, we are somewhere in the middle of the queue, and next thing we know, we are on the top of the queue. How it happened, I have no idea. How did the people in front of us walk away? Whatever on earth happened, first of the miracles. So there we are, we find ourselves in front of the Madonna. It is the face is very different from the Western Madonnas that you see. It is more of the if you look at the Moorish, the statues which were made and the Moorish time, no, that's not the right word.
That's absolutely the right word,
Okay.
because what used to be written on the statue in Latin is Nigra sum sed formosa, which means I am black but beautiful, which is originally always said about the Queen of Sheeba.
Sheeba, that's right.
And Sheeba, of course, is now the current Ethiopia. So we are going back into histories of Christianity a long way.
See, we've always known a white Madonna. It's in any church around Europe I've seen white Madonnas. Yes, there are a few black Madonnas, and they are revered by a lot
And
of
normally in the
Mediterranean areas, but not in this part. But maybe this is the Moorish, going back to the Moors, which they were part of Spain at that time, Toledo and all that. Anyway, so we go there, we get a moment to touch the thing. Some of our prayers are in our heart, and some we put words to when we stand before our gods, and then we move on. Okay, Ritika.
So now the second thing was, as soon as we got it, the second miracle was, the moment we, about halfway in the train going up, suddenly my sister got a call saying, right, we've been able to fix a flight for you to leave Spain the next day, and it's a flight where all three of you are going to be on the same flight.
It was an impossible thing at that time. The way the airlines were doing, they were trying to put you out. If you had a confirmed reservation, they were trying to put you out on any flight out.
In front of the Lady Montserrat for quite a while. We got very lucky. Then we got to come down the very, very small stairs, and by that time the choir had started singing, and there was no place to sit because we waited so long upstairs. There was no way we were going to get a seat. So we stood on these tiny little stairs to hear the boys' choir.
It was beautiful. what voices! I mean, like little cherubs singing in the choir. It was no wonder they're considered such a good choir.
And then after that, after we got to sit, then we were sent out. Absolutely dazed because, we'd been in the dark for so long. It was just a different world out there. It really felt like a different world. And we came out to the outside of this huge monastery. This is the first time you actually get to see the size of the monastery because we were in the courtyard and it was crowded. Everyone had turned it into their day away. So there were school kids taking photographs, there were families out there with food, etc., everything. There's also a very, very pretty museum on the side, which we then went down into because we had a little time to wait before we could catch the funicular and go back upstairs to catch our train. So we went into the museum, which not only has amazing paintings, but my favorite memory was in the little museum shop. There was a little, not so little, there was a glass Saint Michael, the guardian angel. And I've never forgotten this because it is just the most beautiful statue I've ever seen.
Too big to carry.
And too expensive.
Too expensive, yeah, that's more likely.
But there's also this connection between wherever you have a St. Mary's church, you will also find the angels. You'll find Gabriel, you'll find Michael, you'll find Uriel, Raphael for health. So there are all these angels which become a part of Mary's legends and myths, which is also really interesting. And again, they come back to our Indian psyche of gods always being surrounded by their familiars. So again, this felt so familiar and so nice. And then on our way out, I made the mistake of taking a train in the opposite direction.
Which is very easy because when the train comes, it is so, everybody rushes. The platform is totally crowded and you rush and everybody rushes to get onto the train. But then suddenly a train comes. We missed the first one, which was too crowded, and another train comes, which hardly anybody got onto. Said, this is a wonderful day. We are just going to have an empty train to ourselves. And fun started.
So we ended up going more and more into the mountain.
High up into the mountain.
Somebody stopped us and said, look, you're on the wrong train. Get off at the next platform and go back. Now comes the next miracle.
No, wait. We get off at this platform, which is hardly a platform. There's just one bench and it's covered with a shed and not a human being. And we just didn't know which train to catch to get back to Barcelona. So that was the funniest part. And by now we're high up in the mountains, so they're only, if there are going to be any people, there are going to be villagers who hardly speak English. So anyway, we hopped onto the next train, said Hail Marys and said we will get down to Barcelona at some time.
Okay. And when we got down, we found the next miracle, which was that my mother's only aim through this entire trip was to have the Christmas lights come on.
Please, can I come here?
Look, we've got 1 minute to go.
Let me come on. I am original Christmas child. To me, I have followed the Christmas lights in Christmas markets through London, Seattle, all of France, Germany, Spain, Switzerland. You can just name the country, and people follow different things. I follow the Christmas markets and the Christmas lights. And we come out by that time it's late evening. We come out and we out of the station, out the metro station, and hallelujah, the Christmas lights in Barcelona are on. And I just can't believe. I said, that was one of the prayers in my heart, I'm sure, because I must have said, I'm going to miss the Barcelona Christmas lights, and so sad, I'm so close to it, and I'm going to miss it. And we walk off. So there you are. Miracles do happen. This was the biggest miracle for me.